Now, 2023 has not been a very good year for Disney all around. Everything ranging from Star Wars to Marvel to just Disney in general, with a lot of box office failures, a lot of drama happening behind the scenes. And let's not forget about the ongoing cancellations and delays and the cost containment plan that's really wreaking havoc over at Lucasfilm and Marvel for both Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige to deal with. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into exactly what's going on now with Brie Larson and the Disney higher-ups. Now, you guys may very well be aware that the two big potential box office failures of both this year and next are no other than The Marvels and Snow White 2024. You know, that's pretty much a given at this point. Now, a lot of people out there would say, well, see the movie first before you really say anything. It's pretty apparent at this point that The Marvels is going to disappoint many MCU fans, and of course, a lot of people that are expecting how this is going to connect to the next phase of Marvel films. Not just that, but we have Snow White 2024 really dissecting the source material and just really disrespecting all of that together. But focusing here on Brie Larson and what's been going on behind closed doors between herself, Bob Iger, and the higher-ups over at Disney, it just gets uglier and uglier as the rest of this year keeps moving through. So let's get into the actual specifics here, shall we? Now, we know that Brie Larson is one of the top insufferable actresses in Hollywood, right? I've mentioned the top three being Rachel Zegler, herself, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Now, with Disney in a constant losing battle, with box office failures and mismanagement of creators, one major development involves actress Brie Larson, where she recently reportedly had a massive meltdown behind the scenes for the Marvels. The main reasoning behind Brie Larson's recent meltdown behind the scenes had to do with Disney's cost containment plan that is going to deeply impact and wreak havoc on the Marvel's movie marketing strategy that is going to drastically cut back on TV spots and footage for TV and internet, and that promotion for this film will be cut down to a bare minimum in order to stabilize spending for what they realize is going to be a box office collapse. Brie, of course, and her co-stars, such as Iman, this film will be cut down to a drastic level, to a serious issue, to the point where this also led Brie Larson to the point where she believes that this MCU project is the backbone to her career survival in Hollywood and in the film industry, apart from her Nissan commercials and more, and how now also Universal already wants to drop her from Fast X Part 2. Additionally, Brie is also losing her mind over how Disney has decided to drastically cut back on focusing on herself in the upcoming ads, and how they will be dedicating much of their footage to focus on Mrs. Marvel actress Iman Vellani. Now, Brie is demanding for these changes to be reversed. However, Disney is doubling down and upping the ante on trying to not focus so much on herself, given that they finally realize how unlikable of an actress she really has become, to the point that many studios have even banished her from even getting an acting gig. Now, let me just stop here for 1 second, guys. Now, before I get to the next big part about this, we know that the entitlement of Brie Larson is insane. So, she is literally demanding Disney to reverse their marketing strategy and Bob Iger's cost containment plan. And I've said this many times, not only is Brie Larson very egotistical, entitled, and yeah, I would even go as far to say narcissistic to a different level, you know, in different areas. But we see people like Brie Larson all the time, where you have these actresses that are just hanging by a thread, and they begin to lose their overall mind after the ongoing struggle of their performance at both box office, you know, wise, for major releases out there. And not just that, but being acceptable, right? There's a lot of people that don't like Brie Larson, and for valid reasons so. This is coming from an actress, by the way, that created so many issues on the set of her Avengers co-stars. This was an ongoing drama piece that happened a couple of years ago. I'm sure that all of you do remember that whole thing. And Fast X was a major box office fail. You know, as far as Fast and Furious standards go, it really was a failure. And Universal already wants to drop her from Fast X Part 2. Just because they are beginning to realize that nobody really even cared for her character in that film, even though she wasn't a main one. So, looking at all of this, we know that Brie Larson is just falling apart. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, same exact scenario. Look at what happened to Amber Heard, same exact scenario, because of what happened with Johnny Depp. And I believe the same will go as follows for Rachel Zegler with the Snow White 2024 release, if it even does get released, because now we also talked about how Bob Iger and the board are discussing on the possibility of canceling this film altogether based on fan reception of the up-and-coming trailer for September, right around D23's event. So, moving onwards, including all of this, WB, Warner Brothers, is also considering dropping her, or already has, from the Monsterverse. They initially wanted to bring her back into another project surrounding Kong and Skull Island, and those conversations fell flat. Now, Brie is also angered with Disney's decision by canceling the sequel to Captain Marvel that was going to somehow connect to Avengers Secret Wars. Disney is now already heading into damage control mode, as Brie is having growing issues with Disney behind the scenes over this new marketing strategy. So look, we know that Bob Iger is nobody to root for, but I could say one thing. It's kinda quite entertaining to actually hear that this cost containment plan is, you know, wreaking havoc over the Marvels, and how Bob Iger initially said months ago that he believed that the Marvels was going to be a hit success film, and how it was going to be one of the big box office, you know, successes out there. And now you can see that they're backtracking. This is full-on damage control. Their cost containment plan is dwindling their marketing strategy, and their overall way of promoting this film is falling apart month by month. Now, it's still set for November of this year, keep that in mind, but there have also been conversations between Disney and Bob Iger on delaying this movie until next year. They do realize, however, though, if they do that, it's going to create a domino effect on other Marvel movies, on other Disney movies in general, and their release dates, so they're trying their absolute best to avoid that, and they're waiting things out to see if things do resolve with everything, with the whole SAG situation and the WGA strike, etc., etc. They want to be able to promote this movie properly through interviews and stuff like that, so they want that to resolve and see where that's going to head. So, overall, guys, like I say, this just goes to show you that Brie is box office poison, and she doesn't care about the customers, she doesn't care about the audience and the viewers, she just cares about her career survival strictly and only, and how much screen time she gets and how much face value she gets in the marketing of this film. So anyway, guys, you know, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.